Hey family, it's Marv, one rep at a time. Today's video, we're gonna cover a whole body, brand new beginner kettlebell workout, meaning you've never used kettlebells before. So it's gonna blend whole body classic resistance training with kettlebell skill movements. That's right family, today's video is gonna be a sample entire body workout using kettlebells, and this is geared for somebody who's never used kettlebells ever in their life. They look cool, they want to try them out, or they're simply sick of having to wait for their stations at their corporate gym to open up, yet they know that very few people use kettlebells in a corporate gym, which is true. So this is going to be a blend, like I said in the intro, of traditional weight training exercises and then kettlebell skill movements. Now I'm going to structure the workouts. Let's do the traditional weightlifting exercises first, kettlebell skill movements at the end. If you find for some reason though you're just so gassed and you're struggling with the kettlebell skill movements, you can flip-flop the order. Now, die-hard kettlebell junkies might be surprised when it comes to the skill workout that why they're not Turkish get-ups, snatches, or stuff like that. Well, those are super advanced movements. For somebody who's never touched a kettlebell before, I say let's build a basis of basic kettlebell skills before going on to that. Now, this is gonna be just one of a variety of workouts I'm gonna give to clients and then recommend for folks trying to start off with kettlebells. So I'm gonna make this video public, this workout one public for everybody, regardless if you're a client or not. This is a way to say thank you for subscribing and checking out the channel. Now, most of the exercises in today's workout are gonna have their own in-depth exercise tutorial video down below. So if you have a question on them, absolutely, look in the description box, click that link and you get the in-depth video. So here we go, grab a kettlebell or two, get warmed up, get ready to go, and let's start kettlebelling one rep at a time. First up is gonna be a single leg kettlebell toe touch or Romanian deadlift. Now you've already done your dynamic warm up, so we're gonna grab two kettlebells. For the whole video today, I'm gonna be using these two light kettlebells. So we're gonna take a nice squared off stance. We're gonna simply go down into a one leg toe touch, or better known as a Romanian deadlift. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna lock your back down, you're gonna hinge, down and up. Breathing would be breath in, hinge, and up. Now the advanced, like I'm doing right now, is you never touch your off foot down. See on the side view, my back is super straight, I'm not rounding. Slow and steady. You would really switch legs. You can take a break in between, specifically when you're getting really heavy on the weight or you're really pushing, so. Sets and reps is gonna be up to you with how much time you have, how advanced you are. But I will say, don't go 5 sets each exercise right off the bat. Leave yourself some wiggle room. Try and get the most out of the least, minimum effective dose. And that's how we're gonna start off the workout routine with single leg kettlebell Romanian deadlifts. Now we're moving to kettlebell Plie Squats. You're gonna need to be able to keep your feet elevated. So I'm using these two awesome steps. Now if you're at the gym, just like the Plie Squat tutorial video down below, you can use a assisted pull-up machine to artificially get yourself up off the ground. So you're gonna grab a kettlebell. Okay, it's kind of a wider sumo stance, toes pointed out. Everything else still applies for a squat, so drop down. The goal is to be able to get the kettlebell lower since your feet are elevated and had you not. Now because this kettlebell is so light, it's not gonna get below my feet, but when you go to heavier weight, it'll drop down below your feet. So you're increasing your range of motion. It's a great butt builder. Breath in, brace the core, pull yourself down, grip with the big toe, drive up with the heels, spread the floor, or spread the platforms. This is the tempo for most folks. Now you can feel free to play around. If you want to do a nice, slow, 4-second negative or eccentric load, pause, and then come up to really, really maximize tissue damage and muscle gains and booty gains, by all means. If you find that your gym does not have heavy enough kettlebells, what you can do is you could use their dip belt, or I use a $4 dog leash, and you can put it around your waist and have multiple kettlebells hanging below between your feet. It looks something like this. Third exercise in today's workout is going to be a chest supported dual kettlebell row. So get an adjustable bench or an incline bench, set it to 45 degrees and 2 kettlebells. How I personally like to get into position is I stand up, I kind of hinge forward, I hit my chest, touch down, and then I walk my feet back, so I'm in position, okay, and then it's just a row. So what we do is, your breathing can either be breath in, brace, row up, breathe out, or you can do the traditional power breathing, which is you breathe out on the way up, inhale on the way down. Now, cues with all rows, our sternum has to be pointing up, which the bench allows us to do. Don't focus on your hands, focus on your elbows. You're trying to squeeze a pencil between your shoulder blades and picture touching your elbows behind you, giving yourself what I call a reverse hug. Then we have to get our shoulder blades to move. Don't worry about think of the hands, think of your elbows. Elbows up, together behind your back. Now we have an option for the fourth exercise. We're gonna use a decline bench and 2 kettlebells. You're either gonna do a Deadstop kettlebell fly, or if that's just too awkward or uncomfortable, or you don't have access to a decline bench, so you're working out at home, you just do a flat bench kettlebell press. Now, this is gonna go against what a lot of folks say in the fitness industry. I don't like traditional bench, dumbbell flies, kettlebell flies, any sort of fly, merely because the risk to reward ratio isn't that fantastic when it comes to how much pressure it puts your shoulder joint, the anterior capsule, and your biceps tendon on. So when I do a flying movement, which is important for chest growth, I prefer to do a cable fly, a pec deck, or a floor fly. And so we're gonna be in a decline bench. We're gonna grab our kettlebells. I'm gonna teach the fly first. So we get into position, and what's gonna happen is, yes, I'm flying, so right in this bottom position, my shoulder blades have to come together. Okay, they're retracted. I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna fly. Notice my hands don't come all the way up, they stop short, so there's tension. I lower it down carefully, and I let the weights come to a dead stop. So this is significantly harder than if I let elastic momentum and I was just doing something like that, plus I don't like the shoulder being in that position like I talked about. So the weights come to a dead stop, the kettlebells come to a dead stop, up. Elbows are fixed, shoulder blades are back and down. The shoulder blades have to come together in this bottom position. Think elbows together, elbows wide. So this is the dead stop fly. If you just don't like how that feels, right, it feels bad on your shoulder, it gives you pain, don't keep doing the exercise blind. Let's do a kettlebell press. I'm gonna do this on a decline bench, but say you're at home, you don't have access to a decline bench, by all means just do a regular flat bench kettlebell press. So when you press now, the weights are gonna be like this in your hands. So you come down in position, get your shoulder blades back and down, you lock them in. It's that shoulder packing, okay? So it's on the screen right now. That has to happen and stay in that position. And it's up. Inhale wide, so elbows wide, wide, wide. Up. Get a big stretch, think elbows wide. Elbows together. Moving on to our next exercise. So we're gonna get in the rack position, super wide stance, arms up. We're gonna do essentially what's the thruster, right? So the squat down, as you drive up, you extend overhead. But here's the kicker. We're gonna go from here, up, and then rotate, boom, to the side. So this left foot, right, this foot I'm rotating towards stays the same. The back foot, notice I rotate, get up on my toes so I get some rotation. So it'll be Moving on to the kettlebell skills portion of the workout, we're gonna start with your basic 2-arm kettlebell swing. If you've never done this before, make sure you watch the in-depth tutorial. Now, when we get started, there's two schools of thought. One is you place the kettlebell behind you because this is a hip hinge. So see the side view, hip hinge. I'm not squatting down, I'm hinging, okay? I'm folding at the waist, but I load up the hamstrings, hips have to come back. So you start from back here, forces your hips back to initiate the pull, or the swing I should say. The other school of thought is I start in the front of me so I can bring it back, engage the lats, and then swing up. Now, play around with both, see what you find works best for you. So you're gonna take a really wide stance, feet are pointed a little bit out. Now this is coming not from the arms, okay, but from your glutes, your hamstrings, okay, it's that explosive movement forward. So we have to hinge, back is flat, so in fact, essentially when you're hinging, you have to keep, there should be a stick that you can keep, right? So it's this movement, okay? Once you start rounding your back or squatting down, not hinging forward, that's when you get yourself in trouble. So it's gotta be a hinge movement. There's a big cardiovascular element to this exercise. Now, what we're gonna do is to make sure, or this is what I coach, is to make sure you're not just muscling it up with your arms. I like to have folks squeeze oranges under their armpit and engages your lats, okay? And it reduces the impact of you wanting to swing and raise and bring up your shoulders and your chest. So by squeezing your lats, it locks everything down. So I'm gonna start, I personally start with a kettlebell behind me. That's just what I've got used to. So this is what I'm gonna teach for at least, demonstrate to get started. So wide stance, it's almost like that Plie Squat stance. Then you're gonna hinge forward, okay? So I have to fold, hips have to come back, keep that straight alignment. And the breathing is, there's my knee. Okay, now to slow it down, I'm hinging back, loading up the hamstrings, exploding the hips forward, squeezing oranges under my armpits. Gentlemen, you are essentially playing chicken with you know what, okay? Ladies too, but gentlemen, there might be that fear factor of I'm gonna hit myself there. So you are playing chicken. What I see, two mistakes I see is they, like I said, they squat down, they're not hinging, but also they start to hinge when the weight's way out there. They want to get close and then hinge. Close and then hinge. You'll have a lot more power. So see how I'm getting close before I initiate the hinging movement. Now how far the kettlebell, when you get really heavy, it's gonna be right about here. I know it's a lighter weight, so I could really swing it up. What I don't want is something like this, where you're going overhead, no. Now if you squeeze the oranges on your armpit, engage your lats, that really shouldn't happen. And engaging your lats is gonna allow you, just like a deadlift, by squeezing oranges in the armpit, it's gonna light up your lats, which is gonna allow you to keep a stronger back, a straighter back. Similar to the Plie Squat. If you're working out at home, you don't have a heavy enough dumbbell to really challenge yourself, or say your gym doesn't have a heavy enough dumbbell to challenge yourself, you can do a 2-arm version, once again, but with a kettlebell in each hand. So everything you stays the same. So I, again, like to start from it behind. I load my hamstrings and my glutes up. Our third skill exercise of the day is an awesome, like old man, strong man, circus performer type lift. So it's the side press or the bent press. Okay, so we grab the kettlebell. So if it's on my right arm, my feet point away and I stick my hip out. Okay, so yes, Instagram booty model right there. Now the movement is, we'll start off with the easier and then go down to the more advanced. Movement is come down to here, hands up, I'm looking up. Okay, I'm driving my elbow. This elbow is firmly planted in the middle, the end, the inside portion of my quad, I guess, right? That vastus medialis, the teardrop, and I come up. And then I bring it down. The hip has to shoot out or you're in trouble. This is fantastic for building up your core, your low back. I swear this improved my deadlift tremendously when I got really, really good at these. It's great for your shoulder health. Gets rotation in the spine. Good. Now, that's the entry level. To make it harder, once you've mastered that, stick the hip out. Okay. Jump all the way down, up. All the way down, up. So it's nice and fluid. I'm sliding down, up. So instead of merely stopping right here, I'm sliding this hand all the way down. It's almost like a modified windmill mobility drill. Not forgetting about the calves, we have a couple of varieties of what you could do. Typically, if you're only gonna do one calf exercise, whether it be straight leg or bent knee, always do straight leg. You have the biggest room for potential with growth, what's known as the gastrocnemius, which is the visible calf muscle, as opposed to the soleus, which is underneath, and that is actually when the knee is bent. So if you're gonna choose one or the other, always train your gastroc over. Now, a well-designed routine is gonna have, bent knee and straight knee. Maybe you do that on your other workout of the day. But I personally, depending on balance levels, you might be able to have 2 kettlebells in each hand and just stand here and do a one leg. If you need to grab something to balance, by all means. I like to have the heels elevated. And it's just like our best damn calf training tip, period. I don't want you to think up and down. I want to think ankle backwards, ankle forwards. Ankle backwards, pause, ankle forwards. Okay, that forward really gets that last few millimeters of contraction that's necessary. And we're not bouncing up and down, okay? It's nice, slow, taking all the elastic energy out. Your Achilles is your biggest rubber band in your entire body, as far as the tendon is concerned. So pause, ankle back, ankle forward. Ankle back, pause, up, ankle forward. If you have good balance, like I said, you can just hold 2 kettlebells and do it that way. But if you don't, use something to hold on to for balance. Today's carry is gonna be a racked carry. Now I'm gonna leave this pretty open. Obviously, if you have this specific workout routine for me, then I'm gonna tell you specifically what to do, but honestly, play around with it. So we're gonna be in a rack position. We have a couple options. You could do the one arm version, okay? You just do your carry, so elbows tucked in this rack position, nice and tight. I like to put my hand on the opposite obliques to remind myself to engage. You could do a 2-arm even version, okay, with both. Or, it's another great way, is to do one heavy, one light. So it's like an uneven, but you're in this rack position. So it definitely changes the stimulus and what your core has to overcome to stay nice and upright. So nice, slow, steady pace. You can do it for a set period of time or a set distance. The heavier you go, the shorter the distance. Push yourself within reason. Okay, so notice I have good posture. Okay, I'm not hunched over. I'm not rounded, and I'm not leaning far back. So you want to keep tucking in. You almost have like that tucked tailbone position. Keep the glutes engaged. Nice, slow, and steady. Last but not least, we're going to finish today's workout with a kettlebell. Could be very light. Actually, could only be bottom. It depends where your starting point is. Either a Roman chair or like a decline crunch. The same principles apply. If you're somebody who's working out at home, then you could maybe shove your feet under somewhere in your house, or have a friend or a partner or a roommate, or hell, your kids hold your feet down. You would do this from the ground. Okay, but we're gonna hold it in a bottom up position. So when I do the Roman chair, I just merely, anchor my feet with some heavy dumbbells. Now, just like the exercise tutorial video, I want you to sit at the edge, and to make sure we're training our abdominals, not our hip flexors, we get in this position, we slowly unroll, and then instead of merely coming up like this, see how I just come nice and straight? This is the one time I want you to curl your spine. You're trying to crunch to your abdominals, okay? This nice and straight lever is all hip flexors. Your abdominals, you might feel a little bit of a burn. They're just in an isometric hold, meaning they're just stabilized. They're not shortening or lengthening. To get them to really build, you need to shorten and lengthen them. So, we get in this position, nice and slow, and then crunch and curl your spine. To do these correctly, it is really, really hard. So I'm thinking, lengthening my abdominals, shortening them. So I really want this crunch position, and that's how we're gonna finish today's sample whole body beginner kettlebell workout. That's it, family. Thanks for watching. So yes, this is a sample workout you can do right now. If you want help with a custom workout routine designed for you and you alone, so yes, this is a good starting point. But what if we have a specific body part you want to focus on, a movement pattern, you have aches and pains, or you're just not getting results, you know, got really good results in the beginning, you're not getting good results now, or you just don't know what to do, right? Analysis paralysis, we can help. So we do great custom, 100% custom workout routines designed for you and you alone. I have never sent out the same workout routine to any two people. They might be very similar based on goals, your current abilities, you know, your confidence level, equipment availability, time constraints, injury history, yada yada, but never gonna be identical. So if you want more information about that, just shoot me an email. All the information is down below. We do online training, nutrition, consultations, we have ebooks, we have some apparel, all that good stuff. So just shoot me an email. It's all down below, and thank you for watching today's video. If you liked what you saw, would love to hit that thumbs up button, turn on post notifications, subscribe, all the good stuff, introduce us to your friends and family. Remember, we can do anything we want, one day at a time, one set at a time, one kettlebell rep at a time.